Okay, so everybody's talking about it, this SASE thing, right? Secure Access Service Edge. Future of cybersecurity, they say.
hmm
But what is it really all about?
Well, it's interesting because with SASE, it's not just hype, you know.
Right.
It's really addressing this like fundamental shift in how we're working these days, and how security needs to be rethought in a world where everything's cloud first.
Yeah, that's true. So I think for a lot of people, I mean, myself included, maybe we haven't gone too deep down the SASE rabbit hole yet.
Sure.
Can we just rewind for a sec? Like, what is it?
Okay, so think about it this way. Like, everybody's had to deal with VPNs at some point, right?
Oh, yeah.
And they're annoying. SASE wants to fix that by providing this secure access, seamless, to data and applications no matter where the user is
Hmm.
or where those resources live. Like, imagine instead of just having a castle wall, every employee also gets their own personal shield and sword.
Ooh, I like that. So instead of just like protecting the network, it's more about securing each individual user and how they access things.
Exactly.
Okay.
Because SES knows that the perimeter, like it used to be, it's meaningless today.
Yeah.
People work from coffee shops, airports, their couch. So SES is saying, okay, bring the security to the user instead of forcing all this traffic through one central point.
Right. Makes sense. But how does it actually work? Because our sources, they mention all these different technologies that get bundled into it.
Right.
Firewalls-as-a-Service, zero trust network access. It's a lot.
It is, yeah. And that's partly why SESI is so powerful.
Okay.
It's not just one thing, it's a framework. So it brings in all these different security functions, networking functions, integrates them.
Okay.
Like take, for example, zero trust network access. We all hear about zero trust all the time these days, right?
Hmm.
But ZTNA specifically, it's all about verifying every single access attempt. Doesn't matter where it's coming from.
So it's like at the door of every app, there's a bouncer checking IDs all the time.
Yeah, that's a good analogy.
Okay.
But ZTNA is even cooler than that because it goes beyond just, is this the right person? It looks at the device, too. Up to date on patches, any known vulnerabilities. That all gets factored into the access decision.
That sounds very secure, but also kind of a lot to manage, potentially.
There is a learning curve for sure, but the benefits are huge.
Yeah.
Then you've got stuff like Firewall-as-a-Service. So that's, your classic firewall protection, but delivered from the cloud. And then secure web gateways, that's SWGs, filtering traffic, blocking bad websites.
Mm-hmm.
Those are often seen as like the core pieces of a SaaS solution, but what's included can actually vary depending on the vendor, what the organization needs.
Gotcha. Okay, so SaaS is this framework. It's comprehensive. But why is everyone talking about it now? Like, what's driving this sudden surge in interest?
Yeah, you've hit the nail on the head. It's all tied to cloud computing being so huge now and so many people working remotely.
Right.
Like our sources point out, digital transformation, it's changing how security is even consumed, right?
Mm-hmm.
The old way, the hardware, perimeter-based, it just doesn't cut it anymore.
So it's like, we need a security upgrade for this world where the office is basically everywhere.
Precisely. AC provides the agility, the flexibility, and it can scale up or down as needed.
Yeah. And that brings some pretty compelling benefits along with it, right?
It does, yeah.
Like, what's specifically, because we keep seeing, convenience, agility, cost savings. What does that actually mean for organizations day to day?
All right, so let's start with convenience. Imagine you have one dashboard, just one, and from there you manage all your security policies.
Okay.
No matter the location, the device, anything. That's the kind of simplified management SaaS makes possible.
Nice.
Then there's agility.
Right.
You got to be able to adapt fast, right? New threats, new needs. Say you need to beef up security for some new cloud app you're using, no problem. Or suddenly you have way more remote workers. SaaS scales up without breaking a sweat.
So it's not just stronger security. It's about making security more manageable, more adaptable to what's happening.
You got it. And then we get to the money part, the cost effectiveness.
Yeah.
By shifting security over to the cloud, you might not need as much expensive hardware anymore. That on-premise infrastructure can be costly.
I bet.
So this can save organizations serious money, especially if their workforce is spread out.
It does sound like it's hitting on some major pain points that businesses are dealing with today.
Yeah.
But if I'm understanding you correctly, it's still kind of like a work in progress.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, SaaS has huge potential, but you got to remember, not every SaaS solution is equal.
Right.
Organizations need to really look closely at different vendors, what they're offering, got to find the right fit for their specific needs, and their security posture.
Feels like this is just the beginning then. I mean, we've covered a lot of ground, but there's obviously way more to explore here.
That's the fun part. As SaaS matures, we're going to see even more innovation, more sophisticated approaches to security in this cloud-first world we're living in.
So for everyone listening, this was just a little taste, a deep dive. There's a whole universe of information out there on SaaS. So now it's your turn to jump in, see how this whole security revolution might impact your own organization.
Exactly.
And hey, maybe you'll even find some ways to make it work for you.
For sure.
Thanks for listening, everybody.
Thanks.